Casio's MDV106 has been around for a while and is one of Casio's most popular budget dive watches. And this thing is the real deal, unlike some cheap diver watches that only contain certain features because they look stylish. It's actually built for use by divers, snorkelers, and swimmers due to its true 200 meters of water resistance, a unidirectional bezel, which is super important for monitoring those dive times to avoid decompression illness, and a screw-down case back and crown to seal everything together. Plus, this watch just looks really good. It's big enough to be able to operate with gloves on, but it's not too big where it looks like you're wearing a dinner plate on your wrist. And the fit and finish for this watch is really high quality for such an inexpensive timepiece. And you can actually pick up this exact model on Amazon for $47. And this month, Casio rebooted this watch with the MDV106B-2AV. This is the version with the blue dial, and it also comes in a black dial with gold trim, the MDV106-1AV. And here is the blue version, looking sharp as ever. So do these new variants continue the same expectation of quality as their predecessor? Well, let's take a look and find out. So let's get some specs out of the way first. This is a quartz watch that uses the SR626 battery. And here's a quick clip showing how easy it is to take off the case back to replace the battery, as I had to do on my original MDV106. That's about 3 or 4 years old. So this watch has a unidirectional bezel, 200 meters of water resistance, a screw-down case back and crown, and a mineral crystal. It's got a beautiful stainless steel case, and it measures in at 44 millimeters in diameter, 48 millimeters lug to lug, and 12 millimeters in thickness. The entire package of this watch weighs in at 92 grams. So this case is actually really nice. And as you can see here, the sides of the case are polished to a really nice shine. Whereas the bottom of the case is brushed. And the lugs on this watch are just a little thick, but they do have a nice curve, which lends itself well to smaller wrists. I do have a 6.75-inch wrist, and while the size of this watch is kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit for me, I can still wear it pretty comfortably. So the case back on this watch is screwed down, and it looks super cool with an engraving of a marlin, signifying its water resistance. Although you can see here that the case back does not line up exactly when it's screwed down. Kind of a shame, but seriously, for this price point, it's really not a big deal. The crown and the crown guard are highly polished. And the crown stem seems maybe a little bit weak. I wouldn't fiddle with it too much. It's kind of a little bit wobbly when you pull it out. But once it's all the way out, it's easy enough to adjust the time and the date. So all in all, this case is definitely high quality. The fit and finish is really good. And honestly, it's hard to believe this watch is available at this price point. I think I paid about $75 for this particular model. So as I said, this watch has a mineral glass crystal, and it sits slightly above the bezel And if you look really closely, you can barely make out a little bevel around the edge of that crystal. And speaking of the bezel, this is your pretty standard diving bezel. It's unidirectional with markings every 5 minutes. And the first 15 minutes have markings every 1 minute. And the notching around the edge makes it really easy to grip with or without gloves. There are a total of 120 clicks in one 360-degree movement. And it definitely feels sturdy and pretty satisfying to turn. I mean, it's no Rolex Submariner, but it certainly is not cheap either. And there is one luminescent dot at the top position, right on that bezel. And there's also lume on the indices, and also on the hour, minute, and second hands. The indices and the hands are all bordered with chrome, which looks nice. So we've got an arrow and a sword for the hour and minute hand, which is pretty cool to look at. And if we take a look at this watch side by side with the original one, you can see that the second hand is a little different. Over on the original one, half of the second hand is painted red. Whereas on the new blue version here, it is chrome. And check out this dial. Man, what a good looking watch. It looks great in both bright light and low light. And here's a quick shot of the watch outside in the sunlight, just so you can get a little different perspective as to how that blue dial reflects the light. It's actually really nice in person. The dial is actually pretty minimalistic with the word Casio at the top. And down in the 6 o'clock position, we've got the Marlin logo. And right below that, it says WR200M for obviously 200 meters of water resistance. And the only other text on the dial is a super small Japan movement at the very bottom. And the date window is actually pretty small. I mean, it's still usable, but it's probably my least favorite part about this watch. It could use a little work. The applied indices are bordered in chrome. And the chapter ring right above the dial has markers at 1 minute apart, which line up perfectly with both the rotating bezel and the second hand. So honestly, I think this is a really good looking watch. It's got a very handsome presentation with a high level of quality. And again, I'm just blown away by the cost of this watch. Very nice work. And finally, these watches come with a pretty basic resin band with a nice stainless steel clasp. It's soft and comfortable, but this watch definitely looks good with a NATO strap or a leather strap as well. So that about wraps it up for this new version of Casio's diver watch. Here's a quick shot on the wrist. Again, I have a 6.75 inch wrist. On this particular band, I am using it on hole number 8 out of 11. And while it might be a couple millimeters too big for me, it's still wearable and still looks pretty decent, I think. So I'm going to leave a couple links in the description for you to check out this watch online. For $75, you really can't go wrong. And if you're looking for the older black model, that one clocks in at about $45. So anyway, please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. It really helps out the channel, so thank you very much, and we'll catch you next week on the next video.